The morning of Adana's wedding was perfect. Her dress was flawless, her makeup set, and guests filled the venue, waiting to witness her special day. Everything she had planned was finally coming together until her mother walked in. "Come with me," her mother said sharply, leading her into a quiet room. Without hesitation or emotion, her mother said, "The wedding is cancelled." Adana froze. "What do you mean?" "Nina is pregnant," her mother said. "By Michael." Adana's heart dropped. Her chest tightened as the words sank in. "That's not possible." "It is," her mother said. "We can't have this scandal. Nina is younger. She deserves better. You'll have to understand." Tears filled Adana's eyes. "And what about me? My happiness, my dignity?" Her mother's face remained blank. No comfort, no apology. Adana stood there, crushed. The man she loved had betrayed her. Her sister had stabbed her in the back. But worst of all, her own mother didn't fight for her. She protected image over truth, Nina over Adana. The wedding was over, not because of a mistake, but because her mother chose who deserved love, and it wasn't her. Adana had always known what it felt like to be second. Her mother married her father not out of love, but for status and money. When Adana was just a baby, her mother left him. She remarried quickly, this time to a wealthier man, and had another daughter, Nina. From that moment, it was clear. Nina was the favorite. Adana grew up with her father in a quiet, modest home. He was strict, reserved, and not very affectionate. He worked hard, taught her discipline, and always said, "Work for what you want. Don't expect anything from anyone." She took those words seriously. Meanwhile, her mother only visited once in a while, often during holidays or family events. She brought expensive gifts, smiled for photos, and left quickly. She never stayed long enough to know who Adana really was, but she was always full of praise for Nina, her beauty, her grace, her potential. Nina had the spotlight. Adana was barely seen. As they grew older, nothing changed. At family gatherings, their mother showed off Nina's pictures and achievements like trophies. Adana's successes were met with polite nods. Even when Adana graduated top of her class in architecture, her mother simply said, "That's good." But Nina just signed with a modeling agency in Paris. Still, Adana kept moving forward. She worked hard and built her career from the ground up. Late nights, long hours, learning everything she could. Over time, she became one of the youngest architects at her firm. Her designs were bold and elegant, and she started getting noticed. That's when she met Michael. He was charming, kind, and seemed to understand her. They met during a project and clicked instantly. He listened to her, supported her, and made her feel like she finally came first. For once, someone saw her, not just as Nina's older sister or her mother's forgotten child, but as herself. They dated for almost 2 years before he proposed. It felt right. He was the first person she allowed herself to trust deeply. But even then, the tension with her mother remained. Her mother never liked Michael. She said he was not ambitious enough or not refined. Adana tried to ignore it. She thought her mother's opinion didn't matter anymore. Still, her mother would always compare. "Michael is nice, but he doesn't have the presence of someone like Nina's ex, that banker," or "Are you sure he can handle someone like you?" Every visit, every phone call with her mother left Adana feeling small. And Nina, she never seemed interested in Michael, until recently, when she began calling him brother-in-law and laughing at his jokes just a little too long. Adana had a strange feeling, but she pushed it down. She believed in her love. She believed Michael was different. She had no idea her worst fear was already happening behind her back. A few days before the wedding, Adana was sitting in the living room while Michael took a shower. His phone buzzed. Without meaning to pry, she glanced at the screen. A message from Nina popped up. "Can't wait to see you, baby." Adana's heart dropped. Her hands shook as she picked up the phone. She opened the full conversation. There were more messages. Flirty, playful, filled with pet names. She stared at them, frozen. Her chest tightened. Her head began to spin. When Michael came out, she showed him the screen. "What is this?" she asked, her voice shaking. Michael looked surprised, then quickly tried to stay calm. "It's nothing, Adana," he said. "She was just joking. You know how Nina is." "Baby, joking?" Adana asked, not believing him. "We've just gotten close through the wedding planning. That's all. Don't overthink it," he said, trying to smile. "You're making something out of nothing." Still confused and heartbroken, Adana called her mother. She needed someone to be on her side, but instead, her mother sighed and said, "Adana, don't be dramatic. You're always looking for problems. Nina is your sister. Why would she ever do that to you? You're just insecure." Adana was shocked. "So I should ignore this? Focus on your big day," her mother said coldly. "Don't ruin it with your paranoia." Later, Nina called, pretending to be confused and hurt. She cried over the phone. "I don't know why Michael calls me those names," she said between sobs. "I never meant anything by it. I'm so sorry if it looked wrong. I would never hurt you." Adana wanted to believe her. She wanted to believe it was just a mistake, a misunderstanding. The idea of cancelling the wedding, after months of planning, felt like too much. So, against her better judgment, she let it go. She pushed the pain deep inside and decided to move forward. She told herself to be calm, to be mature, to trust. Then came the wedding day. The venue was filled with people. Adana stood in her gown, ready to walk down the aisle. Her heart was beating fast, but she was holding it together, until her mother pulled her aside. "We need to talk," her mother said, her face serious. Adana followed her into a quiet corner. "Nina is pregnant," her mother said flatly, "and it's Michael's." Adana's knees nearly gave out. "What?" she whispered. "They've been seeing each other for months," her mother continued. "But we can't let this become a public mess. You'll have to cancel the wedding." Quietly, Adana couldn't speak. Her world shattered in that moment. Her mother, cold and calm, looked at her and said, "This family has had enough shame. Nina is younger. She deserves this more. You'll understand in time." Adana felt like the ground had disappeared under her feet. She had been betrayed, not just by the man she loved, not just by her sister, but by the very woman who was supposed to protect her. And all of it thrown away like she didn't matter. Adana left the wedding venue in her gown, her shoes in her hand, tears in her eyes, and her heart in pieces. She didn't say anything to anyone. She just walked away. Nobody followed her. Nobody stopped her. Not her mother. Not even Michael. It felt like the world had decided she didn't matter. Her phone rang non-stop that evening. Messages from guests, friends, and distant relatives, all asking what happened. She didn't reply. She didn't have the strength to explain. She turned her phone off. The next day, whispers started. Rumours spread quickly among their social group. Some people said Adana had a breakdown. Others said she was mentally unstable and jealous of Nina. A few even said she had run away because she couldn't handle marriage pressure. Her mother said nothing to stop it. She didn't defend her. In fact, she told people Adana had always been emotional and that Nina was now the one who needed support. Michael and Nina appeared at social events, standing close, pretending to be humble. Nina even smiled like nothing had happened. She wore a soft face of pity when people brought up Adana. Adana stayed inside for days. She couldn't sleep or eat. She stared at the walls, replaying every moment over and over. All her dreams, all her plans, gone. And worse, her own mother acted like it was her fault. One afternoon, there was a knock on her door. When she opened it, her father stood there. He looked tired, older than she remembered. They hadn't spoken much in recent years, but now he looked at her with genuine concern. "I heard what happened," he said. "I'm so sorry." Adana didn't speak. She just started crying. Her father hugged her tightly. For the first time in a long time, she felt like someone cared. Over the next few weeks, her father began visiting more. He brought her food, checked in, and listened when she spoke. Slowly, she opened up to him. She told him everything. About the texts, about how her mother treated her, about the wedding day. He was angry. "They humiliated you," he said. "They used you and threw you away like nothing." Adana nodded, tears running down her face. "You should take legal action," he said one day. "You spent money, time, energy. This wasn't just a wedding. It was an investment, and he lied to you. He broke your trust. You don't need revenge, but you do need justice." For the first time in weeks, Adana felt something other than pain. She felt strength. Maybe she couldn't fix what happened, but she could choose what happened next. Adana filed a lawsuit against Michael. It was not about revenge. It was about justice. He had broken her trust and destroyed her life just days before their wedding. She sued him for emotional damage and breach of contract. The news of the case spread quickly. People whispered again, but this time they were curious. Some even began to question what really happened. In court, Michael arrived with a calm face. Nina and Adana's mother sat behind him. Nina wore soft makeup, pretending to be innocent. Their mother looked serious, trying to stay quiet but strong. When it was their turn to speak, they painted Adana as bitter and angry. Nina cried and said, "I never meant to hurt her. It just happened. I love him too." Michael said, "I never promised her anything. We weren't even fully happy. I just found comfort in someone else." Adana sat quietly, listening. Then she stood up. Her lawyer presented all the evidence: hotel bookings under Michael's name and Nina's name, text messages saved from months ago where they called each other baby and love, voice notes where Michael promised Nina he would handle the Adana situation soon. The courtroom fell silent. Adana spoke clearly. "They didn't just fall in love by accident. They planned this. They lied to me for months. They smiled in my face and betrayed me behind my back. They let me pay for a wedding they knew wouldn't happen." The judge listened carefully. After reviewing everything, he ruled in Adana's favor. Michael was ordered to pay financial damages. The court agreed that he misled her and that the emotional pain she suffered was real. Outside the courtroom, reporters waited. The story spread across social media. Screenshots of the texts and pictures from the court were shared widely. People turned on Michael and Nina. Many said Nina had stolen her sister's life. Her modeling agency dropped her the next day, saying her image no longer fit their brand. Michael's reputation took a hit as well. Clients pulled away, and he was forced to close one of his offices. Their mother tried to reach Adana. She sent messages. She called many times. She even came to her office one day, waiting in the lobby. But Adana didn't respond. She had nothing more to say. This time, she chose herself. Adana filed a lawsuit against Michael. It was not about revenge. It was about justice. He had broken her trust and destroyed her life just days before their wedding. She sued him for emotional damage and breach of contract. The news of the case spread quickly. People whispered again, but this time they were curious. Some even began to question what really happened. In court, Michael arrived with a calm face. Nina and Adana's mother sat behind him. Nina wore soft makeup, pretending to be innocent. Their mother looked serious, trying to stay quiet but strong. When it was their turn to speak, they painted Adana as bitter and angry. Nina cried and said, "I never meant to hurt her. It just happened. I love him too." Michael said, "I never promised her anything. We weren't even fully happy. I just found comfort in someone else." Adana sat quietly, listening. Then she stood up. Her lawyer presented all the evidence: hotel bookings under Michael's name and Nina's name, text messages saved from months ago where they called each other baby and love, voice notes where Michael promised Nina he would handle the Adana situation soon. The courtroom fell silent. Adana spoke clearly. "They didn't just fall in love by accident. They planned this. They lied to me for months. They smiled in my face and betrayed me behind my back. They let me pay for a wedding they knew wouldn't happen." The judge listened carefully. After reviewing everything, he ruled in Adana's favor. Michael was ordered to pay financial damages. The court agreed that he misled her and that the emotional pain she suffered was real. Outside the courtroom, reporters waited. The story spread across social media. Screenshots of the texts and pictures from the court were shared widely. People turned on Michael and Nina. Many said Nina had stolen her sister's life. Her modeling agency dropped her the next day, saying her image no longer fit their brand. Michael's reputation took a hit as well. Clients pulled away, and he was forced to close one of his offices. Their mother tried to reach Adana. She sent messages. She called many times. She even came to her office one day, waiting in the lobby. But Adana didn't respond. She had nothing more to say. This time, she chose herself. 1 year later, Adana found herself walking down a familiar street. It was a sunny afternoon, and she had just finished a meeting. As she turned the corner, she stopped in front of the wedding venue she had once booked, the place where her big day was supposed to happen. She stood there for a moment, just looking. The garden was still beautiful, flowers blooming, white chairs lined up for a new couple's ceremony, soft music playing in the background. But this time, there was no pain in her heart, no sadness, just peace. She smiled, not because she forgot what happened, but because she had survived it. She had grown from it. That old version of her, the one who always tried to please everyone, was gone. She had become stronger, wiser, and freer. As she walked away, she reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. It was a letter she had received earlier that morning. It was handwritten by a young woman from Port Harcourt. She had read Adana's interview online. She wrote, Thank you for being brave. Because of your story, I walked away from a toxic relationship. I chose myself. Adana's eyes filled with quiet tears. The good kind. She folded the letter carefully and placed it back in her bag. As she continued walking, a voice echoed in her mind, soft but steady. Some endings are gifts in disguise. Not all heartbreak ruins you. Some heartbreak frees you. Hey besties, thanks so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe for more drama-filled stories. See you in the next one. Bye.